Hello, hello, everyone. How's it going? Danny Davis here, and I'm going to be joined by Mike King, the man, the myth, the legend. We're talking about Michigan today. I myself am a professional snowboarder, a POW Athlete Alliance member, and Mike here, fellow Michigander, is going to show us his film, Feast or Famine. Mike, why are we talking about Michigan today, my good man?
For tuning in. My name is Mike King. I am a skier and a farmer from Michigan. Michigan's the topic of discussion today because of the election coming up this fall. Michigan is known as a battleground state where the elections are won in the margins. And so people like us, the 50 million people that identify as outdoor enthusiasts, if we team together, and we get out there and we vote, we can put people that are climate champions in the office, and simple as that.
Awesome. I agree. Well, I'm excited to show everyone your film. I myself already did watch it, so I want everyone to enjoy. Mike, you got anything else you want to say before we kick it off?
Enjoy.
All right.
Time for ski lessons.
My name is Mike King. I am a skier and a farmer from northern Michigan. I grew up right here in the old farmhouse in the family orchard. I was the youngest of four. It was fun. There's constantly stuff going on and someone to do it with. The parents pretty much supported any endeavors that we were into. I would say skiing would be a major theme throughout the family. With work being seasonal, it made the most sense to just live out of the rig. If you spend as much time on the road as I do, there's gonna be breakdowns, and there's no one there to do it. You know, you just gotta do it yourself. And if you're crying about it, well then you gotta do it yourself and you're crying about it, so you might as well make the best of it.
Wrenching Wednesdays, we got Parker. Your name in my head. Your hair
As long as I can remember, we were helping out at the farm. I always enjoyed it, working outside and always switching up what you're doing. Or figuring out a way to not help out at the farm. I'd wake up to customers cherry picking in my backyard. See them out my window. The farm is located on this agriculture belt right next to Lake Michigan. That's why we can grow specialty crops like cherries. Weather is always the main topic around the farm. Everything depends on it. The same goes with skiing. The farm is my livelihood, but being 1,000 miles away from any mountains, it felt like something was missing. I found that something in the fresh water. The more time I would spend in the water, the more I realized how special it was. As a farmer, we rely on our land and our water. But farming has become more challenging than ever due to extreme weather. Severe storms, spring warm-ups and freezes. Then to find out Lake Michigan in our backyard is at risk of an oil spill. An oil spill in the Straits would be devastating, not only for our land and water, but for our livelihoods. These places are invaluable. It's not just here. Changes are happening everywhere. The mountains and the lakes have given me the most joy. That makes me want to stand up for it. I know I'm not perfect. It's taken a lot of resources to get me into the mountains. It's these tools that I've used that have allowed me to experience the wilderness and realize it's worth protecting. We can live this 21st century life, but we have to change our fuel. I've always been so blown away by the mountains, and I still am today. They have this way of putting you in your place, making you feel small. It's humbling. Not just in the mountains, but I feel it in the Great Lakes. can make this change, but we have to work together. It's up to us. It's time to turn our passions into purpose.
Sex so hot that it feels cold, like a brain without a mind, asleep in a symphony of pattern and vanity, pattern and vanity. How could I be? How could I become? How could I become? For me. Finding the chemical. Oh, for the love of bad timing. Oh, for the love of the dark. Oh, for the love of God. It says, oh, to be shot dead on your walking path. How could I be? How could I become? How could I become? What does it mean to believe in another? Does it really matter at all? But maybe, just maybe, if you could see beyond my weaknesses, so could I, so could I, so could I, so could I. There is a lightning bug on the lemon bomb. There is a frightened face at the door, feeling forever stranger than paradise, Montgomery Park. Forgot that I'm not where I'm from anymore. If you could see beyond my facelessness, so could I, so could I. So could I, so could I.
That's it.
Me, I'm a new thing. I got my own game. I got my own people and I got my own name. I got the galaxies in my imagination, creativities to bring to the creation. You are another brand new human being, living and a giving and a growing and a shifting in everything we do. interconnected. Billions and billions. All of the children. The elders. You and me.
Well, that got me pretty out of summer mode and into snowboard mode or snow mode. As that was awesome, man.
Thank you.
That was rad. A lot of good snow, and that makes it hard when we're sitting here in 90-degree weather to not think about snow now. So thanks for that, Mike.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's hard. It's hard, but
What part of Michigan are you from? Can you remind me?
I'm from Central Lake, and it's northwest Lower Michigan, so about 40 minutes north of Traverse City.
Gotcha. I am from kind of down near Detroit, about an hour north of Detroit, so it looks a little different from where I'm from. Your property looks insane, and I kind of dream of having a spot like that every now and then, like just tons of acreage, and I don't know if I could handle growing a mass amount of some agriculture, but you guys have a beautiful spot, much different from where I'm from in Michigan, but I know that area is gorgeous.
Well, thank you, Danny.
Yeah.
Mi casa super, so you're welcome anytime.
Oh man, I'm coming up to surf. That looks so fun. I mean, I know it's cold and I know it's a lot gnarlier than you make it look in that film, but I'm coming. That's too good of an opportunity not to take. I'm going to start you off with just kind of a question I get all the time, which is, you're from Michigan and you're a farmer. And so how did a farmer from Michigan get into skiing and turn into a climate advocate and making a film about all these passions? How did you get to this point?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of a life story question there.
Give it to us.
Well, being on the farm, the work tends to slow down going into winter. So as a family, we got into skiing, and I was the youngest of four, so I just did what the rest of the fam was doing. And in Michigan, the ski culture is really cool. It's definitely different than out west and bigger places where it's an after school special.
Yep.
We go to a 400 vertical foot hill, and your parents pick you up when it closes.
Yep.
So we spent all of our time there, and it was incredible. And it didn't matter the conditions because it was always icy.
Oh yeah.
And it was great. And then push came to shove, and I just kept chasing the snow and working my way out west. And I'd say I definitely notice a lot of climate issues, through my travels, seeing glaciers and, compare 10 years ago, 15 years ago to now, and just a difference that with your own eyes is really unbelievable.
Totally.
A common trend I see today is that we get these massive snowstorms, and it's amazing. But the avalanche conditions go through the roof. And so, you really got to tiptoe for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And then some sort of another weather event happens, and something happens to all the really good snow. It gets too warm.
Some crust layer comes in and just ruins 4 feet of POW.
Yeah. So it's, I feel like these windows are getting almost closer and closer, where you got to get it when it's good. But I would say that it didn't really take home with me with the climate issues until I realized and made the connection that the problems we see on the farm today are the same problems that we have with climate, and that they're directly related. And so making that connection is what really put me forward to be hey, maybe there's something I can do here. And the fact that I'm I get more people to watch my ski videos versus my farming videos. I thought, the skiing would be a great platform that I could use to spread this.
It's a little more interesting at times, I'm sure. I feel like being on the farm is really it's super intense, super exciting, and probably calm at the same time. But yeah, I mean, there's a big audience out there. We're a big industry, Michigan's outdoor recreation economy, 26.6 billion in consumer spending. So it's, this is a big, this world that we're speaking to, and sort of our friends across the country, which is this outdoor state, is massive. And we can reach people sometimes a lot quicker from those platforms than maybe your farming platform. But I share with you the same thing of seeing these glaciers. And, to me, I'm only 32, so I've been doing this for, over 10 years. So I don't see the glaciers moving so much. But when I see old photos from long time ago to then what I saw, that's really, really incredible. And I really share that with you, that seeing it firsthand and seeing some old photos is really impressive. In your film, you showed some of this extreme weather on the farm. The frosts, the floods, particularly the flooding seems like it would impact your farm. What does this mean for kind of the farming community in Michigan, all over Michigan, and your family's farm specifically?
It basically makes farming harder. All these and everywhere, really. Yeah. Just the fact that a changing climate, especially one that might jump from extremes to extremes, is just simply making it harder to farm. And to put this in perspective, we're looking at 20% or less of a tart cherry crop this year. And it's due to basically gnarly cold weather during bloom just a couple weeks ago. We had multiple nights in the low 30s, high 20s, and the cherries just didn't take. And, it's a bummer, but that's part of being a farmer, and you just kind of got to roll with it. So it's.
And is this happening more and more, would you say? Like, I'm sure your family's been doing it for a long time. Or at least the people around there. Is this becoming more of a common thing, or is this kind of seem like, we had this, maybe 30 years ago or whatever, or is it more common?
Totally. So like what you were saying about being young and maybe not being able to recognize that or see that, I'm in a similar situation here on the farm. However, I did interview a Michigan State agriculture researcher, Nikki Rothwell, last year, and she began to tell me that our blooming is happening 7 days earlier for cherries. So that means that's a whole week, which is actually a pretty big deal of getting more cold stints and frost and stuff, but also showing me a time frame of problems that were really unheard of 20, 30, 50 years ago. One of them would be hail. It was unheard of, if not any recorded hail storms during harvest in the 1900s. Yeah. And now we have to buy hail insurance, and it's something that we fear every single year.
Oh my gosh.
And so
it's
kind of endless in the fact. And she told me that basically the majority of the problems that we face on the farm are going to be climate related.
Yeah. And they're happening probably all over the country. I mean, it's not just Michigan seeing this stuff, whether it's cherries or whatever else. I'm sure it's happening all over the country. Another thing you kind of talk about in your film that I was curious about, I've heard about, is the Line 5 pipeline. I've heard of that quite a bit when I'm in Michigan. I know I caught up with you at the Moab Summit a little bit about it. But can you kind of explain to everyone what it is and maybe what Michiganders can do to help with the concern?
Absolutely. So Line 5 is a pipeline that moves crude oil and natural gas liquids from Superior, Wisconsin, through the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, through the Straits of Mackinac, down Michigan, and then out by Detroit, back into Canada, into Sarnia, Ontario. And basically, this is just an outdated pipeline. Its life expectancy that it was engineered for was 50 years. I believe it's 67 years old now. And it's had over 33 leaks throughout Michigan and Wisconsin. And the worst part is it runs through the Straits of Mackinac, which is 5 miles of open water, and there's crazy currents and lots going on there, and it would just be catastrophic for the environment, our drinking water, but also our economy, which relies on tourist base and outdoor enthusiasts.
Oh yeah, everybody knows about the Mackinac Bridge. Everybody knows about that big strait. If you're from Michigan, you know about Mackinac Bridge.
Mm-hmm. And so Enbridge actually, it's very relevant today because Enbridge actually shut down the line due to some damage that they just discovered a couple days ago. And they reopened a section of it. I am not that up to date on the situation, but I had the alerts coming through the phone and whatnot. What people can do, what Michiganders can do, the most important thing you can do is call your representatives, call your congresspeople, and our governor, and tell them to shut it down. Tell them it's not worth it. And so this morning, after we found out about the damage a couple days ago, but this morning I spent all morning talking to House of Representatives or leaving numbers saying that we don't support moving forward and continuing to have fossil fuel run through our straits. And one thing that I've kind of learned is that it's extremely important to reach out to these legislators to let them know about the issues that you care about. Because if you don't, then they don't know and they don't think that people care. So
yeah, the more they hear about a problem, the more they're attentive to it, for sure. For sure. I can agree. And, me being, I feel like I'm young, but I am getting kind of older. But me being young, calling my state representatives, it's something I've started to do over the last just few years. So it's really using your voice, letting them know what you're behind, what the people in their state are behind. Because if nobody's calling and letting them know, it's hard for them to know what to push for. And, I see that, and in Michigan, we have such an economy of the cars, and everything seems to be all about the auto industry in our state. Whenever you mention it, it's interesting that Michigan isn't more into, you probably not enough people calling talking about the electric vehicle initiatives that they have. And Michigan hasn't been the most accepting to this. But what's kind of, interesting is maybe farming equipment. Obviously cars are going to get cheaper. But, making electric vehicles more accessible and then broadening that economy too, by bringing it to farming and whatever else we can. What would that mean for your farm and kind of, and skiing? I mean, where you're carrying snowmobiles with a van and stuff, it would be rad to have some, not only electric farming equipment, but electric vehicles to haul snowmobiles and stuff too.
Absolutely. With Michigan having such a big history with the auto industry, my dad, his entire family, they all grew up working in the GM auto plants in Flint, and it's embedded in, my family and Michigan in general. So it would be really amazing to see Michigan lead in this next step to electric vehicles. And exactly what you said, transitioning farm equipment, tractors, John Deere, New Holland, they're making electric tractors. We got to figure out, how can we get these on farms and in the hands of people.
And incentivize the people too, and incentivize
Exactly.
the farmers to make that switch. It's not going to be cheap to make that switch, but having them incentivize that would be really rad.
Totally.
And I don't know enough about that, but about farming equipment and going electric there. But the more I see it happening in my world with, you see it with bikes and dirt bikes and, snowmobiles are going to be coming out soon, electric. So, I mean, and it's really good to kind of just even hear your approach as a farmer, just seeing it all the time, of what's possible. I'm sure you guys are cranking through fuel, and so how much you guys utilize that stuff and how efficient it would be to have some electric stuff.
And it would have to go hand in hand with renewable energy and getting off that. So that entire infrastructure. I think so. On the farm, we have several electric forklifts.
Yeah.
And it's no different. We just plug them in at night, but the power's there. It's immediate, and they work great. So I'd love to see that. People always kind of ask me like, how would you transition with an electric vehicle versus one, that you can keep going. All you need is fuel, not having to charge it. And I think that I don't think we would notice that much of a difference. I think that, we might change in where we go and
adapt
a little bit. Yeah, but I think we'd adapt, and I look forward to that. But really, I don't think it would be that big of a difference. I think that we're going to roll right through it. And like what you said, snowmobiles, dirt bikes, that you can have, you can live this 21st century life on a different fuel. And there's nothing wrong with you going out and enjoying the areas we love and using vehicles and tools to do that. Let's make that change. Let's make it easier for people to acquire this stuff and the infrastructure to make it happen.
I love how old are you?
I'm 27.
You're young. And I love your passion behind all this. And I'm not sure, was Moab, I know where I first met you was in Moab at a Protect Our Winters summit. And was that your first time coming to a POW event and coming to one of the summits?
Yeah, so that was the first time that I've really done anything with POW. And the Moab summit was truly unbelievable. That it was amazing. There's so many people that I look up to, yourself included, Danny, and it was incredible we got to meet. But there's so many people that I look up to on the mountain or on the trail, whatever they do, that are incredible athletes. But I also look up to them as people and what they stand for and the differences, that they make, either in their community or worldwide. And it was really special to have all these people together and
get inspired a little bit. You get inspired for sure, and you get inspired to do more and advocate more. And so I was just kind of curious what your biggest takeaway was from that experience. And, as we get closer to the election this November, what was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway is that these problems that we face and that we're mainly talking about, number one, are not, partisan at all. We're all people and we all care about these places and we care about this stuff, but it's up to us as people, as the outdoor state, to hold our legislators accountable and to get out and vote for people that will stand up for the places that we love and the places that we live.
Yeah. Got to advocate, got to vote, got to get out there. I saw a photo the other day that said there's 4 million kids in this country that will turn 18 by the election. And so the power's in numbers, getting your friends. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me from these POW summits that I go to, and even just conversations that I'm having with Nick Russell or Jeremy, who lives down the street, or Jim Zellers when we're out in the backcountry and stuff. It's just having these conversations, talking about it, getting your friends voting, getting them together on ideas, getting them to call their representatives, really just getting people to band together. That's really what my takeaway is. Every time I leave one of those is like, man, we just need to get, like you said, this isn't bipartisan stuff. This is all stuff we all kind of feel, you know?
Absolutely.
So
yeah, it was so incredible at this, being at this Moab summit where we have this tent, right? And it has a red dirt floor and there's chairs around it. And we're in the desert and we have all these incredible athletes and human beings that nobody wants to be spending their days in learning about climate and advocacy and policy. Everyone there is doing it because they care, you know?
Oh yeah.
All of us would rather be with our families doing fun things, but everyone was there because they care.
Oh, yeah.
And it really meant a lot. And the fact that we were all there and we were all, you know, back on the lowest level, you know, because a lot of us are on higher levels, you know, with our sports and our crafts and whatnot. But when we're there, we are learning, and we're learning from climate scientists and
all
you know,
types.
professional
All types.
experts. And it's so incredible. And it's cool to take this step back because I spent my entire life being good at skiing, learning how to ski, you know, not at climate science, but I'm going to listen to the people that spent their entire life learning this stuff, that have solutions, that know what to do. And, you know, it was really amazing to be able to see that and learn from them and to go from
and
there.
Continue to be inspired by them too. And I think they take a little bit from, you know, things that you do, and like we all kind of take a little bit from each other. It's a great place to get info. Protect Our Winters has always been kind of, for me, just that great place to get some info and really learn more and learn how to like advocate a little bit, learn how to tell your friends how to advocate a little bit. So it's a great group to be a part of. We do have should we take one question from the crowd here? Does that seem like a good time to do this? We got
Absolutely.
We got one. I'm seeing here. How do you manage your farm to make sure it's sustainable and not adding to climate change? We kind of covered that. And
yeah, I mean, that a little bit. Well, first thing, us as human beings, we all have an impact. Our farm has an impact, and it, you know, eating food, we have an impact. You know, it doesn't matter if it's your garden in your backyard. You've disrupted the natural habitat for all the animals and stuff like there. So we are contributing. It's about limiting that. And yes, we get to plant a lot of trees. I think Earth Day 2 years ago, we planted 7,000 trees. And so we were pretty proud of that. But as cherries grow, as fruit grows, as plants grow, you know, we are pulling carbon out of the atmosphere, and we are storing it in these things that we eat that decompose. But back more to your point on what are we doing to our farm? We're pretty much trying to stay with the best, most sustainable practices as we can do that. And the way we do that is working with a lot of researchers, working with Michigan State. They have a really good agriculture program. And so we're constantly working with these researchers and horticulturalists and coming up with the best, most efficient ways to grow food and, you know, to feed our families and communities.
Heck yeah, I like that. That's a good answer. I mean, and it's too, I think, you know, the one thing I've learned with Burton and everything that they do as far as trying to be the best practicing company they can in the realm of climate change and, you know, becoming a B Corp and these different things. It's not cheap, and it's really not, you know, it's also laying yourself on the line, having, I'm sure, these scientists and people in the ag world come out and, look at your property is really open yourself up to some scrutiny and stuff too. So that's really a big part, I know, of what just a big part of it is getting those people to come in and tell you what you can do and what you should be doing. But it's also opening yourself up. So that's great. You guys are taking the steps to have the best practices you can. So I see that we also have a question or a note that me and you were doing some lobbying. It might have been 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I don't know. Things are, the days are blending together now. That was your first time lobbying, or?
No, it wasn't. I've actually have gone to Lansing the past couple years with the Great Lakes Business Network, and we were mainly lobbying water issues and the protection of our fresh water and a little bit of clean energy.
Cool.
But
awesome. So,
and then 2 weeks ago, we did a virtual lobby with Protect Our Winners, Danny and I, and several other POW members. And it was really incredible to meet with legislators. And
again, I feel like everything we talked to them about, we're talking to people who are just like us. I mean, I think it was it Caston? We talked to his assistant. And he was just like these issues we're all understanding of it. And these aren't issues that seem like they should be too hard of a sell. But it was really fun. It's always fun to get in that mode, and to do it virtually was kind of rad because we didn't have to travel and didn't have to go to DC and all that. It was kind of cool to do it virtually. I liked that.
Absolutely. It's seems like a little step into the future, and realizing that, we can do things differently, and it probably will happen.
Adapting
pretty easily.
Adapting,
Yeah.
Totally.
All right, Danny. Well, I have a question for you. You've been a POW athlete for several years now. What would you say the biggest impact someone can have when it comes to protecting the places they love and climate change?
I think I kind of get this question a lot, and I think I see a lot of people, a lot of my friends, and over the years and everything. Oh, you're recycling, and let's do a plastic challenge, and I don't use we use reusable bags, and all that stuff is so good, and that's got to be second nature. That's not really you advocating for the planet. That's you protecting and doing your part to those are the daily things. But really where I think most of it comes down to is policy. How do we get policy change to protect this planet, and how do we get those people in office? By voting. So voting's kind of number one. And I think when it comes time to vote and leading up to voting, you see us pushing that on our social channels, because I saw tons of my friends don't vote. Oh yeah, I didn't vote this year, and it's like, oh man, it's just such a easy one. It really, you can do it where in many states, you don't even have to go. You don't even have to talk to anybody. You can just mail it in. But I think too, the biggest thing you can do is vote. The next biggest thing you can do is talk to your friends about voting. And, you can pledge to vote with Protect Our Winners. And that's a pretty easy text to a number, and they'll keep you updated. And that's always an easy one for me to plug to my friends. It's just like, here, text this to this number. So here you got text Michigan to 65351. And that's an easy way to keep updated. POW does a good job of giving you the info. And it's always been an easy one for me to kind of vote. And that's like the least of it, calling your representative. It's the next one that's challenging. But I am stoked that we got to ask you some questions, and I hope we had some Michiganders on this thing, because we need them when November rolls around. Like you said, Michigan State, the elections there are won in the margins, so we need everyone to show up. So everyone, please show up if you're a Michigander, and please show up if you're not. Go out and vote. Mike, thanks so much. Feast or Famine was great. Thank you for putting your energy into a project that just keeps climate change in the limelight and really speaking to how we need to protect these places we love. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Danny. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It means a lot. It means the world. And until next time.
Yeah, everyone
See you
tune
guys.
in next month. Okay, we got Faith Briggs filmed This Land. So tune in next month for that. Thanks, everyone.